Hi, I am Balaji Chippada and welcome back to my channel. In continuation of our Python series for data science, in this video we will learn everything about tuples, how tuples are different from lists and what made them so special. So without any delay, let's get started. Tuples are one of the important data structures in the Python language, and a tuple is basically defined as a collection of ordered and immutable elements. If you remember, we have learned about mutability and immutability in our list video, where once a list is defined, you can modify the elements inside list by accessing their indexes, right? And once a tuple is created, you cannot modify the elements inside the tuple. That is what immutable means. And a tuple is defined by open parenthesis and closed parenthesis like this, and a list is defined by squared open and closed parenthesis. I hope that is clear. And now you might ask, if you already have list as a data structure, why do we need tuples again? That's a valid question. Now let me answer this by taking an example, real life example. Now, why do we use tuples or lists inside Python? It is basically to store data, right? Now, what if I want to store geometric location or geographic location of a person? It can contain either latitude and longitude, right? Now, what if I store this latitude and longitude location inside a list? Latitude and longitude. I can definitely do this, but what happens is usually latitude and longitude locations will not change, and these are unique combinations, and there is no need to modify this once it is defined. And anyone can override if the value is present inside a list because of their mutable character. So that is not needed, or that is not preferred, right? In this kind of scenarios, it is always preferred to go and create your data structure inside a tuple where there is no need for you to change. That is where we use tuples instead of lists. I hope that is clear. Now let's understand how you can define tuples and what are the attributes that are present inside tuples. Here I created a tuple called my tuple, and I started with open parenthesis and closed parenthesis. Inside I have given 5 elements, each of it is delimited by a comma. And if I execute this, it give me the output without any errors because it is a valid tuple declaration. And just like list, a tuples can also contain any kind of data types. So if you see here, I have a numeric data type, float data type, and string, and a complex number, and I also have a list inside a tuple. And this list contain numeric, float, and string data type, because we already know even list supports multi data type formatting inside list. Now if I execute this, it will run without any issues. Now let's say, just like lists, we also have indexing in tuples as well, and the first element is always indexed as 0, and second one is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now how do you access elements inside a tuple? I can just say my tuple 2 of index 0. What is the value of index 0? It is 1. And my tuple 2 of index 2, what is the value? It's string Balaji. Now let's execute this. My tuple 2 is not defined, so it is tuple 2, and let's execute this. See, I got the output 1 and Balaji. Just like lists, we have indexing and we can do list slicing as well. Now let's say my tuple 2 of 1, 2, 4. I got 2.5 Balaji and 2 plus 3i, and this will return the data type as another tuple. Now what if I print type of this one? If I execute, it's again a tuple. So that is how tuple slicing and indexing works, just like lists. Now let me create one list called my list, which has same elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will also define a tuple with the same elements here. My tuple equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you observe carefully, list is started with square and closing with square parenthesis, and tuple is normal parenthesis. Now if I say my list of 0 equal to 10, so what I'm doing here is I am trying to override my element at the 0th index to the value 10, and if I print my list, the list will get updated because of mutable character. The first element is changed to 10. So what if I do the same inside a tuple? It will throw me an error, type error. Tuple object does not support item assignment because tuples are immutable in nature, and once a tuple is declared, you cannot modify the individual elements inside a tuple. And the error is also very easy to read and debug. That is how easy Python is to learn. And then we can assign values or unpack tuples in this manner. So what it basically does is it will assign value of x to the first element 1, value of y to the second element, and value of z to the third element. Now let's execute this, and x y z will be 1 comma 2 comma 3. What if I want to create a tuple but only one element? I can just do like this, and if I print type of this one, this will be treated as a tuple. That's clear. If you have any queries so far, please let me know in the comment section below. I will reply to each and every one of you. Now, just like there are some additional methods inside list, like list dot reverse, list dot pop, list dot remove, we have a couple of methods inside tuples as well. And one of the important function is you can just check the length of tuple by using length. So let's say we will take my tuple, and if I execute this, we got the length as 5. Now let's define a tuple. My tuple equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and 5. And what I can do is, if I want to count how many times a number is repeated or how many times an element is repeated inside my tuple, you can just use my tuple dot count method, and you have to pass what element you want to count for. And I will execute this code, and it will show me the value as 2. What if I add one more 2 here? If I execute it again, it will become 3 because my element 2 appeared for 3 times in the tuple. What does this my tuple dot index does? Now if I want to get the index of any element inside a tuple, I can just use dot index. The indexes, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. Now what if I want to get the index of the element 4? It's basically 3, right? So if I execute this by using the method dot index, I can retrieve the index. Now what if I want to get the index of value 5? I can just say like this, and I will get 5. And what if I give a number or element which is not present inside my tuple? Let's say Balaji. It is not present inside my tuple, and if I execute this, it will throw value error because the value that or element value that we are trying to find is not present inside a tuple. So it is very easy to understand the errors in Python as well. Now let's move ahead. Concatenation. Just like list, we can concatenate two tuples. Now let's define the first tuple as 1, 2, 3, and second tuple as 2 and 4 and 5. And if I do tuple 1 plus tuple 2, it will create another tuple in which the numbers or sequences of the elements in the tuple 1 and tuple 2 will retain. It will not change anything. Now what if I add another item called Balaji inside this, and if I add this, I will get this tuple as an output. Concatenation will not modify your native tuples, and by default you cannot modify tuples because they are immutable in nature. Tuple index slicing, if you know the answer to this, please let me know in the comment section, and let's see who gets the answer right. And one more thing that I forgot to mention in the last video list is how indexing works is, let's say I have this tuple. The index, how index work is, initial first element is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now what if I want to access the indexes in the reverse order? So that is where negative indexes comes into picture. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. So if I want to access the element G, I can either access tuple of 6 or else tuple of -1, because -1 is corresponding to the element G. I hope that is clear. Now let's execute this. So what will be the output of this one? It would be G. If I say minus 3, it would be E. I hope that is clear. And these are all tuple indexing, just like we learned before. I want all the elements of the tuple until the index 3, but not including the value of the index 3. Clear? And this says is get me all the values of the tuple starting from index 2 and at the end till the end, because I haven't mentioned anything at the last or end position. I hope that is clear. Now let's try to answer this. I have my tuple as A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I want you guys to answer the output of this cell in the comment section below, and let's see who gets this right. And that's all for the tuples, guys. Hopefully you learned something new in this video, and if you are liking the content, please do subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified daily. And we'll meet you in the next video. See ya. Bye.